On the 8th of March 2014, a Malaysian Airlines flight took off from Kuala Lumpur, but never reached its destination, Beijing. To this day, no one knows the whereabouts of this flight. But after 8 years, a new clue about the possible location of this aircraft has emerged. Welcome once again to the True Mystery Chronicles. The date was the 8th of March 2014. About 8 years ago, when flight MH370 of Malaysian Airlines was scheduled to depart from Kuala Lumpur and land in Beijing, China. There were 2 pilots, 10 cabin crew members, and 227 passengers on board. Most of the passengers were Chinese nationals. Both pilots were highly experienced. The 53-year-old Captain Zahari Ahmad Shah had 33 years of flying experience, while the 27-year-old co-pilot Farouk Abdul Hamid had 7 years of experience. The aircraft was an 11-year-old Boeing 777 with no prior history of mechanical or electrical issues. It was a completely regular flight that operated daily between Malaysia and China, covering the journey in about 5 hours and 34 minutes. However, this particular day was far from normal. Before takeoff, the aircraft was loaded with more fuel than required, enough to fly for 7 hours and 41 minutes, which was about 2.5 hours extra. This is a standard airline practice to account for bad weather or emergencies. At 12:42 a.m. on the 8th of March 2014, flight MH370 took off from Kuala Lumpur as scheduled. Captain Zahari remained in direct contact with Kuala Lumpur Air Traffic Control. Before and after takeoff, the aircraft headed toward the South China Sea. 20 minutes later, at 1:09 a.m., the transponder automatically transmitted the aircraft's GPS location to Kuala Lumpur's radar. Everything appeared normal. 10 minutes later, at 1:19 a.m., as the aircraft exited Malaysian airspace and entered Vietnamese airspace, Kuala Lumpur Air Traffic Control contacted Captain Zahari for the final time, instructing him to contact the Ho Chi Minh Control Tower. The captain acknowledged and replied. Neither the pilot nor the control tower knew that this would be the last communication from MH370. 30-7 minutes had passed since takeoff. Normally, an aircraft remains in contact with air traffic control throughout the journey. But 3 minutes after the final message, at 1:21 a.m., flight MH370 suddenly disappeared from the radar of both Kuala Lumpur and Ho Chi Minh. Initially, Kuala Lumpur controllers believed the aircraft had simply entered Vietnamese airspace. However, when Ho Chi Minh controllers also failed to detect MH370, they realized something was wrong. Repeated attempts to contact the aircraft over the next 18 minutes received no response. Eventually, Ho Chi Minh informed Kuala Lumpur of the situation. In such cases, rescue authorities are usually alerted within an hour. However, Kuala Lumpur informed the Aeronautical Rescue Coordination Center 4 hours later. By then, it was already 6:15 am, the scheduled landing time in Beijing. Hope still remained that the aircraft might land safely, but no news came. At 6:32 a.m., a search operation began at the location where the aircraft was last seen. 34 ships and 28 aircraft from 7 countries searched the Gulf of Thailand and the South China Sea. No trace of the aircraft was found. Media outlets around the world began reporting the incident nonstop, and investigation teams from multiple countries joined the search. What baffled investigators was how such a large aircraft could disappear completely without leaving any debris. The search continued for 4 days without success. Then, on the 4th day, shocking information surfaced. Although MH370 vanished from civilian radar at 1:21 a.m., it remained visible on Malaysian military radar for nearly an hour. After disappearing from civilian radar, the aircraft turned right, made a U-turn, and headed back toward Malaysia. 31 minutes later, it crossed Penang and then turned toward the Malacca Strait. The aircraft was last detected by military radar over the Indian Ocean at 2:22 a.m. After that, it vanished completely. The biggest mystery now was why the plane turned in the exact opposite direction of Beijing. The search area shifted to the Indian Ocean, but again, no evidence was found. Days later, another critical revelation changed everything. Although MH370 disappeared from military radar at 2:22 a.m., it continued communicating with a satellite. Boeing aircraft are designed to automatically contact satellites when onboard communication systems fail. MH370 attempted to connect with the Inmarsat satellite every hour. Using this satellite data, experts conducted complex calculations and discovered that after disappearing from military radar, the aircraft turned again and continued flying south over the Indian Ocean for 5 more hours. At 8:19 a.m., the plane made its final satellite contact. This was the last signal from MH370. At the time rescue teams began searching, the aircraft was still flying but far from the original search zone. Investigators believe the satellite connection ended at a curved location in the Indian Ocean, about 2,000 kilometers west of Australia. From takeoff, the aircraft had flown for nearly 8 hours, matching its total fuel capacity. This strongly suggests the plane may have crashed into the ocean after running out of fuel. The highlighted search area was massive, larger than the entire country of India. A deep-sea search operation was launched, as finding the aircraft and its black box was crucial to understanding what happened inside the cockpit. The search continued for years and cost over $160 million, but no wreckage was found. Eventually, the operation was called off. In 2015, a year after the disappearance, a right flaperon from the aircraft washed up on the shores of Reunion Island. Investigators determined that the flaperon was not extended during impact, suggesting the aircraft hit the ocean nose first. Over the years, additional debris was found along African coastlines, but the main wreckage and passengers were never located. To this day, no one knows exactly what happened inside Flight MH370. Some investigators believe the plane was hijacked, while others suggest an electrical failure caused loss of communication, leading to cabin depressurization and unconsciousness of everyone on board. The truth can only be revealed by the aircraft's black box, which remains missing somewhere in the Indian Ocean. In February 2022, 8 years after the disappearance, hope resurfaced. British retired aerospace engineer Richard Godfrey claimed to have identified the aircraft's exact location using weak signal propagation analysis. According to him, the wreckage lies in the same curved area of the Indian Ocean, about 4,000 meters below the surface, similar to the depth at which the Titanic was found. Whether Malaysian authorities will take this claim seriously and launch a new search operation remains to be seen. Only time will tell. We hope you liked and shared this True Mystery Chronicles video. Thank you for your continued support and heartfelt comments. We'll meet again in another amazing video.